Hello, I'm Chuck Gold, and welcome to the Delaware Valley Original Music Showcase. Our process is simple, it's 3 steps: listen, experience, and pass on local original music. So let's get started. Tonight we have an international feel because the lead singer and songwriter is from Napoli, Italy. Valentini Janie moved to Philadelphia to pursue her dream, and she found the band to help her. So let's welcome Valentina Janie, Haas, Roman, and Gary.
Thank you.
Now you got a taste of their music. Let's find out more about the band in the interview.
The name of the band comes from vanishing points, which is points of perspective in a picture or project, however you'd like to see it. So it's different points of view. That's the name I gave the band. My name comes from my first name, and my second name, unfortunately, believe it or not, there were like a lot more Valentinas than you would think, especially here. So I had to add something to my name, and that was actually a tribute I paid to Aerosmith, just another tribute that I paid to Aerosmith. And Janie's Got a Gun. So Janie's Got a Gun is a very powerful song, but the name Janie is also close to Janis Joplin, so it was a little bit of both. And so, yeah, Valentina is my real name.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say this, but at my age, I'm not participating in the industry. I'm just playing music. when you come out, and you have good questions like, why do I still do this? And you know, you sometimes play and you go like, gee man, I just don't have it anymore. I'm not really playing the way I'd want to be anymore. But when you get together with your friends like Gary and Val, and she starts singing and he starts drumming, and you start playing, it justifies it. It justifies the lousy drive from Upper Bucks County all the way down into the city, getting the parking tickets, and then when you start playing, it's worth it.
Decide to pursue music. It's just, I didn't decide to pursue music. Music decided to pursue me. So it's something that I, even before I was able to talk, I was able to sing. There was a few songs that I was singing when I was really little. And one is, I just called to say I love you. I didn't even really know the words. But I was born in 1984. I'm a lady, I shouldn't say, but you know, I think. But yeah, that song was really popular, and that was one of the songs that I actually mumbled. And yeah, and also I was obsessed with the show Fame. So since I was a little kid, music was always like part of, like, you remember Fame, I wanna live forever. You remember that? Yeah.
Well, as far as drums, from the time that I was probably 3 years old, I used to pull my mom would tell me I would pull all the pots out of all the cupboards. I'd set them all up and I'd bang on those things like all day long. So for me, being a drummer, I feel like I have this beat that's in me, that I'm always tapping. It's like it's a constant. So I like to, I have to get that out, you know. So I feel like I have to play, but what I enjoy being in front of people and playing. You know, unlike Roman, I don't do, you know, presentations and things like that. I'm super nervous when it comes to that stuff, but it doesn't matter how many people I'm in front of. If I'm playing, I don't have there's not one bit of nervousness at all when I'm playing.
I love music. Back when I was a kid, around 6th grade or so, my grandpa was a saxophone player, and he gave me my first instrument as a tenor sax. I still own it. And all up through high school, I was in band. Loved playing concert music. Jazz band was my favorite once that rolled around, and I wanted to be in music education. So that's what I started doing when I went to college, but that kind of tailed off. And nowadays, I just play bass and guitar kind of for fun. It's almost like therapy at home. It's kind of like a little side thing I did. I picked it up about 15 years ago when I was in the military. I just kind of started playing bass and guitar.
It's called Fall Into Pieces, and it's the first song I ever wrote. I actually wrote that song at the piano. It was 10 years ago now. It makes me like giggle a little bit thinking about it. It's 10 years ago, and that song was the first song I ever wrote, and it started at the piano, and it was like a transitional period for me. So that song also brought up a lot of feelings that I had to, that I later had to deal with, and then, you know, that song was really important. It was like the first actual, you know, me screaming like me through music, you know, screaming my feelings through music.
Good tune, and once I realized there's no bass in it, like, that's a perfect example of a song that's rounded out very well with really simple bass notes because it's slow. But when you're playing that really low register, it completely rounds out the song. And I love playing that song. I think it's a great tune that she wrote. And it's really easy for me to play, but once you hear the low notes in there, it just really bottoms out everything and brings it kind of together.
Falling to Pieces, that's probably about, of all the songs we played, that might be one of the ones that's hardest for me, because there's a certain, the pace of it is slower than the other songs, and a lot of times I feel like I want to rush it, but that song really has to be played like at a really nice melodic tone. Like I said, for me, that's the one that's probably the hardest to be able to get that just right. So I do work on that one, but it's a great song. It really is.
What I like with Val is she lets me do what I want to do with the guitar. And then I don't do what I want to do with the guitar, I only do what I can do with my guitar. And she lets me do what I can do with my guitar. And Falling to Pieces was one of those songs that when it first was played, it was played in a completely different way. And several other songs have that evolutionary, like if you ever heard us from the first time we played it to how it's being played now, big changes. Some songs, and that song in particular, as well as trying to develop an arrangement, I shouldn't say it, but I picked up on Genesis Carpet Crawlers, and I liked the way it sounded and the way she was singing it and that sound, and I try to bring that mistiness into that kind of song. And also at the same time, we're trying to play it in such a way where the song has a little bit of regret and sadness as she starts, and as she progresses toward the end of the song, she sounds a little bit more angry than she sounds sad. And I kind of like the fact that we developed that song into a way of carrying that emotional dynamics that I think the song has, like, oh, poor pathetic me, you know, you kind of, and then at the end you're like, damn it, I don't need you.
We would like to thank the band for taking the time to talk to us. And if you want to learn more about the band and their music, you can always check them out on Facebook at Valntinia Janie Music or on Bandcamp at Valntinia Janie.
Thank you.
Here, one more time, is Valntinia Janie and the Vanishing Points.
Back of my mind, I didn't fly behind. Somebody thoughts in this foreign time. Ran through my mind, sure I feel fine. The moment I saw that pouring rain, knew that I had to not look behind. Only I could hear my own name. Only that made me come alive. Running and hiding, and hiding, not the same young girl I was before. Not the same young girl I was before. Only I could hear it sound. Only I could hear it smile. Thank you.
Decided to make the original move. It's always been really strange trying to pick out names. It's like pulling teeth. But we wanted something that was close to home, and we live right on the river, right on the Susquehanna.
The guy that reviewed the record said that we take old style music and make it sound current. That was, to us, that was the ultimate compliment.
You can do it with anybody, and that doesn't mean we're just anybody. But if you believe in something and you have conviction for it and drive, so, you know, yeah, you have to believe in them, and in this band, absolutely, I believe in these guys.
This band in particular is very melodic driven. Everything is pretty much balanced. You know, you have bands where, as if, like, I'm not dishing any other band, but all the other bands, like, you know, let's say if the guitar player happens to be the most musically talented person, then he's gonna have to do a crazy solo, and everybody will have to pay attention to that. With us, it's like everybody plays that role in the band. One person's out, the melody section is over.